Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Tricranius Beast Power from the Transformers Generation Selects line. As you can see, packaging is pretty standard for what we get with Generation Selects, but definitely a lot more decoration going on the front of the box. You have the Maximal symbol over here. You have a bunch of jungle motif kind of on the side, continuing onto the top of the box, which is pretty cool. And when we open this up, really nice picture of the character here on the top, which is definitely a lot more than we usually get for Generation Selects packaging. That looks fantastic. That's some really beautiful art up there. Now you can probably tell right away that this guy is a repaint / slight remold of Ractonite. And the box over here, in keeping with their plasticless packaging that they're going for, this has all the effect pieces, and they're literally just wrapped in some tissue paper. So if we open this up, it's just 2 pieces of tissue paper, and then all of the effect pieces are just kind of loose inside there. He comes with a ton of them, but I just think it's hilarious that they're just wrapped loosely in tissue paper. So I'm going to go ahead, get this guy out of the packaging here, and we're going to take a closer look. So here he is out of the packaging. Really like the color scheme. You got some translucent orange plastic with the black and the yellow. All really works well together. Definitely giving me like a molten lava volcano kind of feel to it, but also kind of reminds me of the Predacons. I think it really kind of goes with that color scheme. Very, very cool. Now, I don't know if you noticed in the last shot, mine had some kind of like crud or gunk or something kind of all caked around this peg and a little bit in the rib cage. I have no idea what that was. It cleaned off easily enough, which is nice, and it looks clean and good now. But I don't know if that was some glue or something that dried. It was really kind of gross, so don't know if anyone else experienced anything like that. It's always kind of weird to me when, you get toys straight from the factory and they just kind of look a little messy like that. But like I said, cleaned off really well, and he just overall looks really good. I like the head sculpt here. You have kind of a translucent red helmet here, and you can put this visor down if you like. So if you kind of want to give him like a battle visor, that just can kind of click down like that. Otherwise, really nice yellow eyes with the black face. Works really well. Head can spin side to side. You have a little Maximal symbol there on the side of his face. Rock back and forth a little bit. Can't really, well, you can side to side a little bit, but certainly looks side to side, no problem. Now this just spins because this is just a peg. Technically, you can kind of get some weird shoulder movement because you have a joint here and a joint here, but that's really for something else. But if you wanted to use it for the shoulder, you certainly could. You have a swivel here again because this just kind of unpegs. You have a joint here. Depending on how you want to use it, you could spin this around if you want to get more articulation out of it. It's really up to your preference if you like the foot kind of facing forward, or if you want to kind of hide it a little bit and have it face towards the back, you can do that. It doesn't really look like he has any fists or anything molded in. I feel like they could have maybe molded something into this area, but then again, this peg here has to be able to move. This little tail piece here, kind of as a sword, is a very soft plastic, as you can see there, so that's definitely more of a rubbery consistency than the rest of the figure. You have a spin here at the waist, because again, this just unpegs. You have a hinge here, as well as front to back movement. You have spin here, because again, this just unpegs, so you can pop that off, so you have movement there. You have knees there, but you can also, well, no, I guess you can't actually come forward. At first it looks like I thought you could, but really just goes back, and then you have the ankle tilt. So a lot of good articulation. Like I said, the figure really looks good. I love the Triceratops head here. These are kind of a softer plastic as well for the horns because they don't want you stabbing yourself with the horns, so I think that makes sense. And then the articulation over here is pretty similar. You have the spin here, you have a hinge here, you have that bicep swivel, and then again, depending on how you want this to go, you can get a little bit more out of the elbow if you have it go this way. It's really just your preference. I think this is probably the correct way, so you get the full elbow. But if you would like the hands to look the other way, you can still get some elbow out of that. So it's really just your preference. I'll probably just keep it like this. But yeah, overall, he looks pretty cool. Now, real quick, we'll just touch on the effect pieces because there's just so many of them. And they don't really go with the figure, in my opinion. They're just kind of thrown in the box for some extra stuff. And I say they don't really go because they are a mixture of fluorescent pink and blue. And it's cool, and I like them, but I feel like this character, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, you can add them wherever you think they'll fit, but they also don't really, like, peg in a lot of places here. I guess you could peg him in on the feet or something if you want to pretend like he's blasting off. I mean, really anywhere where he's got peg holes. So on the side of the hands. Does he have any on the back? Not really. I mean, I think they're really more for use with other characters, other, figures in the line, because they're going to have more peg holes than these guys do. Being fossilizers, these guys don't have a ton of peg holes on their own, but you just get a ton of these, and you can kind of link them together if you want to make them look a little bit larger. Honestly, these are just kind of the giant effect pieces that we've seen with like Omega Supreme, Skylinks, larger figures like that, Jetfire. So it's just those pieces you probably already have in some other color, just done in a mixture of fluorescent pink, and then you have this kind of teal blue color. I guess this isn't really fluorescent blue, it's more of a teal. But again, you can kind of link these together. So I don't really know why these are included. I think just to kind of drive the price up a little bit and make it feel like more of a deluxe set. It kind of reminds me of that Centurion drone we got, but all the extra pieces for that were meant to go with your other characters. But those actually made sense. You got like a better gun for Optimus, you got a gun for Bumblebee, you got like a little jail cell for Ravage, some Energon pieces and things like that. That one felt a little bit more substantial. This really just feels like we don't know what to do, so we're just going to toss a bunch of effect pieces at you, and you can just kind of do whatever you want with your other figures. Is this supposed to go in there? Yeah, maybe. So that's what these are. I'm just going to put these off to the side. They're nice to have, I guess. Like I said, if you want to augment your other characters. They don't really do much for me personally. I think the effect pieces are nice, but they're not a major selling point of the line for me personally. So the addition of a gigantic, box of extra effect pieces, not really super enticing for me. I mean, hey, I have them now. I bought this for the figure because I really like this repaint and the fact that he is a true Triceratops, which is one of my favorite dinos. So I think the figure looks great. I think those extra effect pieces are just kind of meh. If you love them, you love them, and that's excellent. But let's go ahead. Let's get into the transformation here. So real quick, I'm just going to say, yes, this guy is a fossilizer. Just like any of the weaponizers before him, you can take them all apart and do a bunch of different weapons and things. Very similar to how Ractonite's pieces work. And of course, you can make up your own stuff. So I'm not really going to get into the whole fossilizer / weaponizer portion of them. I'm just going to transform them into Triceratops mode because that's kind of the mode that I like the most. And, you can, of course, get whatever kind of crazy combinations you want and make whatever kind of weapons you think look cool. There's so many options, I couldn't possibly showcase them all here anyway. So we're going to start by going ahead and taking the tail piece off. And we're going to unpeg the arms / legs. And I did notice there's actually an extra joint here. So I wanted to point that out. There's kind of a second joint there, which we're going to use for the Triceratops foot, or leg, I guess. But if you wanted to use it as an arm, there is that joint as well. We're going to go ahead and just take these pieces off. And then this is going to just come off as one solid piece. You don't actually have to take these legs off. It just stays like this. This, we're going to just fold the visor down, and then that's pretty much all you do with this. This is going to open up. This piece is going to flip around. We are going to peg the tail into the back here. This section is going to just completely peg up under here. There's a little peg hole in there, so you just do that very simply. This we're going to take and peg into here. We're going to take what were the arms. We're going to flip this peg in, and then we're going to peg these in. Oh, you know what? I've done this backwards. This goes up here. There you go. You can see how then the spinal column all goes together. Then these are going to peg in the front here on these pegs. Make sure you fold these back. And then you can kind of bring this back so you can bring this forward to kind of get the proper orientation for the legs. And I probably put these on the wrong one. You want the peg holes to face to the inside. And then we're just going to take this and we're going to fold this piece into the mouth and then peg this on the front. And there you go. There is your Triceratops mode. Now I'm not really configuring the legs here as best as I should be, so let's go ahead and fix that. So that way he will stand properly. But yeah, he looks cool. I like him. Like I said, really like the color scheme. I like the Triceratops head. The mouth does open. You have some yellow eyes there. They're a little sunken in, so it's kind of hard to see them, but there you can kind of see them from that angle. So if you want, you can spin the head from side to side. You can spin the legs. You have all those joints I pointed out earlier. And then you have the same movement as the legs because these are just the legs in robot mode. And then you can move the tail here a little bit. You can move this a little bit. And you can spin this if you prefer. So I like him. I think he's a cool Triceratops. I really like the lava motif. And I just think it's really cool we're finally getting a proper Triceratops in this line. So very happy to have him. I think this guy's pretty great. I really like the look of him. I love the color scheme. I love the fact that he's a Triceratops, because like I said, definitely one of my favorite dinos. And it's a pretty excellent repaint slash remold of Ractonite, which was already a pretty excellent mold to begin with. So I'm really happy to add this guy to the collection. Also, the fact that he's a Maximal is a big deal, because I feel like a lot of the fossilizers so far have been Predacons. So it's kind of nice to even the scales there a little bit in terms of, you know, Predacon versus Maximal when it comes to fossilizers. I definitely think Tricranius Beast Power is a weird name. I feel like they could have done a little bit better in that department, but you could probably come up with your own name for him, something that's a little bit better than that. Other than that, he's a fun figure. Now, the inclusion of all the effect pieces and everything, it just feels really tacked on to me, just so that they felt like they could throw something else in the box and make it seem like a little more beefed up and more of a collector's set. It's not really needed to me. They're kind of superfluous. I think they're a nice color choice, because it's definitely ones we haven't gotten before, and if you're someone that loves the effect pieces, by all means, you know, fill out the ranks of your effect pieces there and go ahead and build yourself a really cool diorama or something like that. Just for me personally, I don't do much with them, and now I just kind of have to find somewhere to put all these, throw them in a bin somewhere or something like that, and probably neglect them. So in my mind, this guy could have just been a release by himself, but they wanted to tack on a bunch of extra effect pieces, so be it. But I mean, the real prize here is this guy. Really great articulation, great paint applications, great color scheme. Hopefully, if you get one from Hasbro Pulse, that's where I got mine, you get one without, you know, random gunk all over one of the connection boards, because that was a little weird to me. I still don't really know what that was, but like I said, cleaned off pretty easily. The figure seems to be unaffected, so I appreciate that. But yeah, this guy's really cool. Definitely recommend picking him up. Like I said, I got mine from Hasbro Pulse. I think he's available at other online retailers. He may be a Pulse exclusive. I'm not 100% about that. I would definitely check Pulse first. If they don't have it, then I would check your usuals, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, things like that. I think it's definitely at least a fan channel exclusive, if it's not a Pulse exclusive. It might be, and I apologize that I don't know that for sure. Definitely check Pulse first if you're trying to find this guy. So I like him a lot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.